Okay, I kind of already mentioned this, but I think it's worth its own little video, and that is the moment anybody discovers a new deal that needs to be worked on, it needs to be entered into Amped within seconds. If it's not entered into Amped immediately upon recognizing the deal, what that means is they've got some kind of other system. And usually that means like a scratch pad or an email or just bad memory. And what ends up happening is a lot of those will get forgotten or mishandled. And the agency owner or agency manager never knows about it because it's not in a system that is visible. So getting everybody to add deals immediately frees up their own minds and own thinking, saves them up to a couple hours a day just because they won't have to shuffle through things. They'll always see all of their deals right in front of them in the active list. But and for agency owners and managers, they'll always see what's going on in the entire agency. They'll know how their marketing's doing. Is the marketing really working or not in different campaigns and what's happening? You also can identify bad deals too. Geez, we're getting a lot of bad deals from this source. We need to figure this out. They're low quality. What's going on here? But the only way that happens, the only way you can, it's almost like flipping a light on for your whole agency on the sales side to see really what's going on, is people have to have a browser open all day long, which we've mentioned, but then they just got to add it, and they got to add it quick in 10 seconds. So really easy to do. Just hit add deal, type the name, whatever that name is. And if it's in the system already, you can select it. If not, you can just hit add contact and add it. If you do hit add contact, you can add a phone number if you want, an email. None of these things are required, or your AMS, CMS, CRM, whatever you want to call it, number here if you want. You can hit if they're new to agency or not. This can help because if they are, maybe you send a welcome packet or something. Anyway, so you type the name. You type the name in, and select it or hit add contact. So I'll just select it, and then whatever the source is, you can mark that. Be sure if it's a referral, you mark that, and then because you want your referral system to work, and then so you mark that, and then you can type whatever name with the referral. And then if it's in the system, it'll pop up. You can select that, and that will create an automatic task, of course, for somebody to send a thank you card or whatever your program is. And then that's all you have to do, name and source. You can leave all the rest of this blank if you want. Let me just go through this really quick, though. You can have agency tags if you want to, maybe you have, maybe you want to type in here if it's a business owner, just different tags that you might want to keep track of. You can mark if it's hot or not. This just helps prioritize when you figure out, I like to use this one as, hey, if we just get through and quote this and get it done, it will bind. So they're not kicking tires. They want this done. I think that's really good to know. And then if it's a rewrite, if you mark this, that'll help with the reports and keep the rewrite production separate from new production, so you know what's really new. You can make notes on it. The current carrier, where they're coming from, proposed carrier. A lot of times, if you're just finding the deal, you don't exactly know who you're going to quote out yet. So a lot of times you leave this blank, and then you'll fill it out once you know. But that would be where you place them with, or who you present to them as being who you advise them to switch to, the estimated premium of what you think the premium will be, and then if you charge a fee. Some states you're allowed to charge fees for different things. You can put a fee in, and then a proposed date. So this would be a proposed date. Once you hit bind, it ends up being the bind date, or excuse me, the bind date. Anyway, yeah. So you can put the proposed date in. That's your target bind date, and then when you bind, you can pick the date. And then down here is snoozing. You can snooze it to a later date. You can mark. Let's say you had one conversation, you filled this out, and you gathered all the information. You just need to quote it. You could click that. That way, you know exactly how far you've gotten, and then you can assign it to a different producer. Anyway, so that's kind of how you add a deal. Like I say, though, you can add a deal in 10 seconds if you just put the name and the source. A few more seconds. It doesn't take too much more, though, once you get the hang of it to fill this whole thing out and save it. So there you go. Oh, let me just show you. There is another couple other ways. Let's say that you've got somebody in your list right now. This is an auto, and you want to add a home. You can easily just click on it, and then click on that person's name, and this will show you all the deals associated with that person, and you can add deals that way as well. So anyway, a couple different ways to do it, but the main way is just remember this big blue button here.